please.
Mayor Roland Dykes.
Present.
Vice Mayor Mike Connie Ball.
Present.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Here.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
Present.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
Here.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Here.
City Attorney Terry Hurst.
Here.
City Administrator James Fincham.
Here. Our next order of business then would be included in your package is a copy of the minutes of the previous meeting, regular session, October 11th, 2022. If you've had a chance to look at those minutes, we'll entertain a motion to approve them as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the board then to approve those minutes as presented. It has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by the normal sign of aye.
Aye.
And nays like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Item 4 is proclamations and recognitions of citizens by the mayor. At this point, we would like to recognize our former alderman and former vice mayor, Coach Mike Prophet. If you'd come forward.
I have a picture made, y'all. I've already told all of you, I appreciate working with you and leaving it in good hands. And one of the best things saying, Vice Mayor Mike Prophet, James Fincham said, what he said, oh.
You got to stay.
No,
Yeah, we're going to miss you having a stick. That's what we're going to miss.
he's saying, we're going to have a picture made, y'all.
Regina, where do you want?
This right here be okay? When you answer the phone.
We can do it when y'all get done there, or you can wait till after. It don't matter. Either one.
Okay, I thought that's what you was going to do right now.
Well, that's up to y'all.
What do y'all want to do?
Well, let him give you your
Oh,
Got something here for you.
stuff first.
Where get you, Chris? Come on over here. It's like herding cats with this guy, I tell you. But, Coach, we really appreciate the service that you provided the city for the last, I forgot how many years, 8 years? And even before that, what you've done for the community as when you were coaching at high school and teaching at the high school. You have been an asset to the community for a long time, and we really appreciate you. In honor of that service, I'd like to present you with this, your plaque, your table plaque for being vice mayor. And Vice Mayor Mike Prophet, in appreciation of your 8 years of dedicated service, devotion, and commitment to the city of Newport, we thank you.
Well, see, I didn't know we was going to do it. Take a picture. Kathy's going to take one too.
Close enough.
Thank you, everybody.
Regina's got something.
Thank you a whole bunch, everybody. Thank you so much. Like James and I talked, we're still going to be together. If he needs me, he knows where I'm at, and if I need him, I know where he's at. Thank you all a whole bunch.
Well, Coach didn't retire because he just wanted to. He retired because of his health, and I know he is very torn on whether or not to try to continue. And I know he misses being here. He shared that with me already, that he already misses it, but he had to look after his health. And so we've told him that we want him to stay as involved as he wants to be. And his advice will always be well taken. And he was a great member of this board, and as the mayor said, he has been an asset to this community for many, many years, and he's a legend, literally. one day several years ago, I think it may even been before he got on the board, I was in Morristown eating lunch with my aunt one day in a restaurant, and they just overheard some folks that were at a table over from me, and they just overheard me say something about Newport. And they said, "Are you from Newport?" And I said, "Yeah." And the first thing out of their mouth was, "Do you know Coach Profit?" And so I said, "Yeah, I sure do." And so, but that was true everywhere you went, and still true. And he's the most well-versed in the history of places of anybody I ever seen. And anywhere you want to name, he knows somebody there or somebody that's kin to them. So it's been a lot of fun going places with him and spending time with him, and we definitely want him to not ride off into the sunset. We want him to stay involved and come around, and we'll definitely find ways to keep him involved.
Thank you, James. Alderman Hansel has some recognition he'd like to share.
Coach, the late Bobby Knight, Roger Greville, myself, and Jeff Fancher, we were part of the first crew that come in here 8 years ago, and we were green as grass, and we made some hard decisions. And I think when the history of the town is read at some point, they will say that the right decisions were made at the appropriate time. And Coach, it's been an honor to have worked with you and known you a good portion of my life. Thank you.
Thank you.
And also, I wanted to recognize our Chief of Police and our Police Department, Sheriff's Department, and the Sheriff. Y'all did a fantastic job with the situation that happened last week, and I was just sharing with the mayor earlier, I don't ever recall a time when every agency was ready to slap somebody else on the back and say, "You all did a good job. Y'all did a fantastic job." Dispatch, communications, all the support people, everybody did a fantastic job. And everybody went home safe, including the suspect, and that's what our job is, and we all should be commended for that. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Alderwoman Pottinger.
I would like to give a special shout out to the City Hall administrative staff for the beautiful decorations that you all provided for our swearing-in ceremony. It was absolutely gorgeous, and the lobby is beautiful. If you needed a second job, you could have one for sure in decorating. And Virginia for the decorations of the Christmas party last week. They were really pretty, and thank you all for your efforts in making everything look so special for us.
Anyone else?
Best parade ever.
Absolutely.
I'm telling you.
Very nice parade.
And James, I could tell some tales on Mike, but his wife's here, so
I'd say she can tell more than anybody.
Yeah, I recall one time, and I don't remember all the circumstances, but this was in his younger years, and nobody could find him anywhere. His mothers looked everywhere, called everybody. He just left mopping the front porch, is the word I got, and ended up in South Carolina. Well, why'd you go there? You gonna tell us?
I got rid of it down there.
He knows we appreciate him.
If I could, I'd
Chief.
like to say something. Fincham said it best, you can't go anywhere without Coach Prophet. We even went to Florence, Alabama and sneaked into a football game before the coach got there. Then they come and said, "Coach Bowden don't want anybody at the field when he comes in. You got to leave." So we went back outside. But Coach and I were on top of Round Mountain feeding the Carson Newman football team one time, and I brought him back off the Del Rio side, and I kept noticing I could hear something bumping. I thought it knocked the tire down or something for a minute, and I looked, and he was hitting that emergency brake in that driver's headband. He finally looked over at me and he said, "Boy, are you in a hurry?" And I said, "Well, no, I'm just going home." And he said, "Well, I'd appreciate if you'd slow down." Ever teaching and a great, we've been several places together, and a lot of football games, and met a lot of people, and I'll have to agree, everywhere you go, they'll say, "Newport, you know Mike Prophet?" So he's a legend, but for sure. And I've enjoyed our personal relationship and the work he's done with the city council as well.
Thank you.
Anyone else? I would like to also commend our seniors, led by Ms. Carlene Robinson, for the law enforcement luncheon that they put on last Wednesday. It was very well attended by several law enforcement agencies, including our police department, our fire department, and the district attorney's office, and some others that came in to that luncheon. And they always said they've always looked forward to that, and they enjoyed every minute that they were there. So thank you, Carlene, and your crew of seniors.
Thank you. You fit right in.
Yeah, I did help serve some over there that day.
I got to say one more thing.
Okay.
Everybody knows Mike Profit can out-eat anyone, right?
Yeah.
Well, back in our real younger years, and he's older than I am, but I don't know what the circumstance caused it, but we met at my dad's service station, and we had breakfast, and it was a can of pinto beans and spinach. Is that right? We just eat it right out of the can. So, man, both of us, we can eat anything, anywhere, anytime. Is that right? That's right. Amen. Okay.
Don't leave any leftovers, you'll eat those too.
What?
Don't leave any leftovers.
Yeah, there wasn't any left that day.
Okay, is there anyone else? All right, the next item of business would be our communications from our city administrator, Mr. James Finch.
Thank you, Mayor. One thing that y'all are aware of that I need to get into the record, we had an incident since our last council meeting where our heat went out here at City Hall, and we had to get somebody to come and fix it. It was right during the coldest snap that we had so far this year, of course, and so I had to declare an emergency and get the units repaired. And so I called y'all and let y'all know about it when it happened, but I just wanted to get it into the record by bringing it up in here so that it shows that you all were aware of it, and that way it's on the record that I had to do that. The animal control building, we've had more roof cave in down there. I called Jeff Green yesterday, and he tried to build a fire under Mike McCarter, and McCarter called me and went down there and looked at it. And he says he's going to try to provide us another building till we can get squared away. And so I don't know, he said he was going to get back with Lisa today. I don't know if he did or not. Did he get back with you today? No shock there. But anyway, Tim's guys come down and did their best job to patch it back together that they could. But I don't know how much longer we can keep doing anything down there, because the whole roof's going to eventually come in on it. But hopefully we are moving forward with trying to purchase 6 acres from the county down in the old industrial park. And we have selected a site down there and the first order of business, if we can close that deal with the county, is to begin on our animal control building, a new one down there on Industrial Road or Coke Boulevard or whatever it goes by now. And then also our next project on that same property will be a new street garage. Currently the old one's on 3 acres and it's outgrown it, and we're going to put just a little bit larger one on 5 acres, and that should do for many years to come. But our number one priority is to get the animal control building built. It's always been our goal to get it out of downtown, but at the rate that building is deteriorating, we've really got to try to get moving on it, and so we are trying. But until we can get the property, we can't begin to do anything. But hopefully we'll be able to start on it by spring, start on the new building. So if McCarter can find us another building to move into, then the urgency won't be as bad. But right now it's urgent because the building is really in bad shape. The old Allen building downtown. And also I wanted to echo Alderman Hansel's comments about the law enforcement response last week to the incident with the wanted suspect that decided he wanted to have a gun battle and they had to pursue half the day through the fog and the woods and the brambles, and I had a police radio in my office and was monitoring it during the entire time, and I was very impressed with the organization and the cooperation. You know, I've been in this since 1976, and that was as well coordinated a operation as I've seen take place here. Now, I've seen things that were planned, you know, when we had the KKK rally and we had the stuff up at the track and those kinds of things that we prepared for. But this was something that just happened and had to be responded to. And that's the first time that's ever happened in my tenure. And I was very pleased, like he said, with the outcome. Everybody come home safe, and we didn't have to, fortunately, we didn't have to do anything to him other than chase him all day in the fog and finally get him hemmed in and take him into custody. So I'm very proud of the job that everyone did and all the agencies that came together and helped. And I was very impressed with it. And it makes me feel really good about the prospects in the future. If we, God forbid, we don't need it again for another 40 years. But in the times we live in, you're constantly seeing on TV where something like this is happening. And it's just a matter of time till that ugly beast rears its head here again. And so I was very pleased with the response and the professionalism and the way that everybody went about their business, our people, the sheriff's people, and the agencies that came in to assist. So it was fantastic in my book. That's all I got, Mayor.
Well, thank you, James. The next item of business is a discussion of reappointment to the Newport Planning Commission, Alderman Steve Smith. Any discussion? Apparently not. We take a vote, I guess, to, we need a motion for that appointment.
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the board then to reappointment of on the Newport Planning Commission of Alderman Steve Smith has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye. Aye. And nays like sign. Hearing none, congratulations, Steve. And the next item is consideration of reappointment for the Newport Housing Authority of Genevieve Dalton. Ms. Dalton in here? No? Any discussion? We need a motion.
I'll make a motion to reappoint to the Housing Authority.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the board there to reappoint Newport Housing Authority Genevieve Dalton. Has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye.
Aye.
And nays like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Item 8, item 7, I'm sorry, reports from committees, members of council, and other officers. Is anyone, Carver is not going to do anything today. You have anything to add?
I have nothing to report, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Item 8 then, old business or unfinished business, is consideration of second reading of ordinance number 2022-16, budget amendment for Newport Grammar School.
And Mayor, I'll read the caption of that ordinance into the record. It's ordinance 2022-16, an ordinance of amending the annual operating budget and capital program of the City of Newport, Tennessee, fiscal year 2022-2023 for Newport Grammar School.
We need a motion.
Motion to approve ordinance 2022-16 as presented.
Second.
I'll second.
We have stereo seconds on that one, so we need a roll call.
Alderman Mike Hansel,
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger,
Yes.
Alderman Randy Reagan,
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Consideration of the second reading of ordinance number 2022-17, amending the zoning map for the city of Newport, rezoning properties Main Street.
Okay, since it is a slightly different council and it's been a minute, the Planning Commission, and I think August, reviewed possible rezoning of a couple of properties on Main Street, further west Main Street, almost to where Main Street ends. The potential new owner, I'm not certain if he's closed on the property yet, of the old Ryan Clock Company at the end where it dead ends. Mr. Williams no longer owns it. This new gentleman, the gentleman that's the new owner, approached me a week or two after the last meeting and asked me if we could pause this, because what he had planned was not necessarily the hearsay that I had, and it wasn't a reactionary thing. We need to rezone several of those properties, but what he wants to do is not, I think, dangerous or against sort of our vision for downtown and Main Street, but he was concerned that there may be some light industrial type things he wants to do. I think he mostly mentioned using the rail for not sawmill, but like a wood transportation type. Anyway, whenever he closes on the property, he's going to come back and like give me his elevator pitch on what he's going to do. So he's also willing to work with us on deeding, granting the right-of-way to us for our Main Street extension, which is in the downtown plan to continue Main Street down to Cope, which will be helpful, especially if we're planning on moving city services down there over the next 3 to 5 years. So Terry, is it best to table it, or just, because I didn't want to vote on it and then come back next month and bring you a whole new thing and re-rezone a piece of property that we, if we just wait a minute and let me get it right with what the new owner's kind of thinking, because I think if he's willing to just give us the right of way to make that project work, I think it's a good thing to work with him.
So I suggested the reason.
So his is one of these?
It's the Clock Company, yeah. He's bought that.
Do you know which property specifically?
Oh, as far as that?
Yeah.
I can figure it out real quick.
We could vote on the others.
Oh, can we do that?
To change them.
Give me 1 second.
We've already, on the first reading, we approved all of them.
I've just listed it have I listed the address or the parcel number?
Parcel number.
Okay, hang on 1 second.
And the address. The address and the parcel number is on there.
He's having to delete all the porn.
A little bit too much information.
That's why.
Yeah.
All right, hang on. It is.
I'm going to ask for another, Steve stuff like that, I'm going to ask for another seat.
Okay, 211 West Main, 047 PA001. Yeah.
So that would be
if we can remove
one on there.
Yeah, if we can remove that and then pass the others, that's great. I didn't know that was an option.
We've already passed them all.
Oh, yeah, right.
On first reading.
So
if someone wanted to make a motion to approve this ordinance, leaving out that specific piece of property,
yeah.
Then
I was afraid it was an all or nothing kind of thing, but if we can do that.
We could certainly do that, if that's what you would recommend.
That would be my recommendation, yes, because we do want to rezone these, but yeah.
I'll make the motion we do.
Well, and just to keep the record straight, let me read the caption into the record. It's ordinance number 2022-17, an ordinance to amend the zoning map for the city of Newport from M-1 Light Industrial District to C-2 General Business District for properties located on or near Main Street, west of the Cosby Highway intersection. And the council's intention is to delete number 211 West Main Street, further described as 047PA001-00. Is that your motion?
That'd be my motion, yes.
Would you state your motion for the record as for what you're excluding also? Yeah.
Well-
I think Terry just said it, but
Everything in the ordinance deleting 211 West Main Street
okay.
section.
All right.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the board then to approve the rezoning, excuse me, for 2217, amending the zoning map for the city of Newport, rezoning properties on Main Street with the exclusion of 211 West Main Street. Has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance. I'm sorry, we need a roll call.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
Yes.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion
Thank you.
carries. All right. Item 9 is new business. Consideration of first reading of ordinance number 2022-18, budget amendment for Newport Grammar School.
Mayor, that's ordinance number 2022-18, an ordinance of amending annual operating budget and capital program of the city of Newport, Tennessee, fiscal year 2022-2023 for Newport Grammar School.
We need a motion.
Make a motion to accept that reading, 2022-18.
Second.
We have a motion on the board then to approve the first reading of ordinance number 2022-18, the budget amendment for Newport Grammar School has been properly seconded. Please have the roll call, please.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
Yes.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item B is consideration of the first reading of ordinance number 2022-19, amending the personnel policy for the city of Newport.
Mayor, I requested this be put on the agenda. Currently, if you come to work for the city of Newport, of course, we are under Tennessee Consolidated Retirement, TCRS, and there is a probationary period when you're a new employee of 6 months. And so as time goes by and you accrue your time, your service credit time, you always have that 6-month lapse of service. And later on you can buy it back or whatever you want to do. I've got the paperwork. It's always been that way. It was that way when I came to work here. But what I would like to propose is amending that. On occasion, we hire someone who is already under TCRS that works for the county or works for the state or some other city or county that has Tennessee Consolidated Retirement. And it doesn't happen a lot, but it does happen on occasion. And what I would like to do is to amend the policy so that if an individual leaves an organization that is covered by TCRS, that when they come to work for us, they immediately go back under TCRS so they don't lose 6 months' time, have a break in the middle of their service. And I think that might be a little bit of an incentive to help us in recruiting people too, like deputies or firefighters, when they come, if they leave the county, and we're not trying to steal anybody, but it happens, and some come from the state. We've had workers come from the Department of Transportation, DOT, and go to work out the street garage. And all those folks are under TCRS. And when it come to light on me for me was we recently hired a lady from the school system, and she mentioned that she really hated having to have that 6-month break in her service. And so the more I thought about that, the more I thought that I felt like it would be fair and not be unfair to anybody, but it would be fair to folks that leave one job that was covered by the retirement and come to work for us. I think it would be fair for them not to have a 6-month break in their service time. And so I would respectfully ask that you all approve changing the personnel policy to reflect that that anyone that comes to work here from a TCRS agency will not be required to wait 6 months for their service time to pick back up.
Would this be retroactive?
No.
Okay.
No, it would just be moving forward.
Board's pleasure.
I'll make that motion, because I hired 2 or 3 that had to wait when I was working here, so.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion then on the board to approve the amending the personnel policy for the city of Newport. It has been properly seconded. We need a roll call.
Alderman Mike Hansel,
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger,
Yes.
Alderman Randy Reagan,
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you. Item C is consideration of resolution number 2022-12, signature authority on bank account for the city of Newport.
Yes, this is something that we need to do every time that we have a transition in the board, and this will be applicable to all the bank accounts that the city has. And this is new signature cards, and it will remove any people that have left the board and add Randy this and Connie officially to the signature cards. So I just need a vote to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion then to approve resolution number 2022-12, signature authority on the bank account for the city of Newport. Has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye. Aye. And nays, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Item D is consideration of resolution number 2022-13, hiring administrative service for ARC grant phase 2.
This is, we were awarded this back, I think, late summer. I don't know if we properly announced it yet, but this is phase 2 of the downtown stormwater project. It's $400,000 grant with the match. It's around $500,000. So that project should be getting going sometime next year, and with all grace of God and hope and luck, it won't go nearly as difficult as the last phase. But this is not, and I do want to bring this up, the CDBG grant, which we in Tennessee Town and City, which came out today, which goes out to every elected official and public servant in the state of Tennessee and local government. We were recognized for a CDBG grant that we were awarded. When did we finally? It was last Monday, I think, or Tuesday we got the news. So that's over $200,000 for Jeremy. It's over $200,000. Yeah, $206,000 for life safety equipment. So that's not really an agenda item, but just wanted to kind of make that announcement that we were awarded that. That was an application that went back in, I think, in February of last year. That's how slow this process works sometimes. But so that's good news. This is for the one we were approved for late in the summer. So which you're doing admin services. I took the solicitations per the grant restrictions or by their rules and did their grading, and then came out. Community development partners, that's who I like working with, and they scored the highest anyway. So it'd be my recommendation to hire community development partners for this project.
Okay, it's the board's pleasure.
Motion to approve resolution 2022-13.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the board then to approve resolution number 2022-13, hiring administrative service for ARC grant phase 2. It has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye. Aye. And nays, like sign. And hearing none, motion carries. Item E, apparently Gary has this one too. So consideration of resolution number 2022-14, hiring engineer service for ARC grant phase 2.
Same project, same song and dance. This is for engineering services and inspection services from the same firm. It's the firm that we worked with previously. They have prior knowledge of everything. They did the stormwater study, so they graded out to be the best firm for the job, so I recommend that we hire. It's Matter and Craig, sorry. Every firm is like just two people's last names, and sometimes I get them twisted. I was about to say a different one. But my recommendation, hire Matter and Craig for this project.
Board's pleasure.
I'll make a motion to accept.
I'll second.
All right, we have a motion on the board to approve resolution number 2022-13 or -14, hiring engineer service for ARC Grant Phase 2. Has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye.
Aye.
And nays like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Item F, consideration of resolution number 2022-15, Newport Police Department applying for the Violent Crime Intervention Fund.
This grant is a formulary grant. You can go down there and see what each agency's going to get. The Newport Police Department and the formulary should get about $128,000 for violent crime intervention. It's a no-match grant. We have to apply. We were working with the Law Enforcement Innovation Center out of UT. Mr. Carver and Deputy Chief Scott Lamb are working to try to get everything in place. And all we need is your approval to go ahead and send in a letter of intent to seek that grant. And if y'all give us that approval, then we'll move forward with trying to get that grant approved.
Okay, it's the board's pleasure.
I'll make the motion. No, you go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Second her.
Okay, we have a motion on the board then to approve resolution number 2022-15, Newport Police Department applying for the Violent Crime Intervention Fund. Has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye.
Aye.
And nays like sign. Hearing none, motion carries.
Mayor, just for a quick interlude, I just did a little quick math, and that's $735,000 in grants that the city has been able to access, and that's money that will help get some things done and not have to come out of our tax base here. So I want to commend staff for their hard work and keeping us in line and keeping that grant money rolling in. We like it.
Amen.
Thank you all for the approvals.
Thank you, Gary. Item G is consideration of contracts from Luz Design for Parks and Rec projects.
I was hoping mine would go, Gary would get y'all pumped up and y'all would really be easy on me this quarter. I also have some good stories about Coach too, so look, I can't talk about mine. I can talk about one of them is that we went to Vanderbilt for the first time that I got to go to the state championship playoff games. And he says, I'll bet you dinner I get on the sideline. So I was the green one. I took the bet. Should have known better. So guess what? Look down there and there's Coach Profit standing on the sideline of the state championship game. So
he just stood on the sideline at a lot of games.
Even with Coach Torbush at the ETSU.
If you just walk in somewhere and act like you know you're supposed to be there, most of the time they let you go in. That's a life lesson.
And Coach Torbush always talks high of Coach Profit too, so he's got a lot of mutual respect. Let me get to our mission here. The Parks and Recreation Department would like to ask for approval of 5 contracts with Lowe's and Associates with that firm. The contracts are for a 10-year master plan, expansion of the White Oak Playground project, planning the Woodland Park, tennis court rehab with pickleball, and the City Park swimming pool replacement. These projects will be paid by a combination of pre-budget money and grant funds. So that's the projects that we have identified with moving first with White Oak and also with the 10-year master plan. The 10-year master plan will determine how much money we get into the future as far as grant money goes. So we're asking for those 5 contracts proposals to be approved by council.
What are you doing on the pool? What will you be doing there?
What do you think needs to be done?
I know, well, I just want to hear it. The minor-
We had talked the possibility of building a pool inside a pool. And we don't know if we're going to be able to accomplish that. So it could be a complete renovation of that pool, which means you tear out the sidewalks, you tear out the pool, and you rebuild a new pool, which I know there's one alderman that wants to see an advancement in what kids can do in pools. And I don't want to mention it, but I'm going to have to, is the, Connie, what is it that you want?
A splash pad. Not just me, but the community.
And so with Mr. Fincham and I, when we looked at the possibilities of the swimming pool, we looked at putting some anemones with that outdoor pool that would accommodate those needs. So all that's going to be factored into that. And of course, the renderings and all will be presented to you as a city council.
Anything that is done, this is just starting the process. Anything before anything would be actually done, you all would have to be satisfied with it before we would actually do anything. But we have to have a plan. If we don't have like a 10-year plan in place, it hurts us in acquiring these grants. They pretty much require you now to be able to show them that you're committed, thoroughly committed to recreational improvements, and you've got to have a plan on how you're going to do it and when you're going to do it. And as he said, this is a 10-year plan. This is not something we're going to try to do in a short period of time. This is a long-term plan that will be done as funds become available. So this is not committing to anything right away. It's just putting a plan in place and having an idea of what it's going to cost. 7 or 8 years from now, there's no telling what any of these would cost. But this is what it would cost in today's dollars. So we're not bound to this. It's just showing this is the plan, and this can change at any time, and nothing would be set in motion without y'all's approval. So just to keep anybody from, and to make sure the public understands too, this is not something, well, they set all this in motion, now it's, there's nothing we can do about it. That's not the case. This is just approving a plan. It's not setting anything in motion.
And the price tag on these proposals is basically just for the planning.
Yes.
For this company to plan.
Right. And there's a lot of things that will be done in-house when we sat down as a committee, and there's a lot of things like public hearings that are figured into these costs that will be deducted from that, because we'll be able to do those type of evaluations or surveys or public hearings or public meetings.
Any other questions? We entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion on the board then to approve contracts from Lowe's Design for Parks and Rec projects. It's been properly seconded. Please signify acceptance by aye.
Aye.
And nays like sign. And hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Consideration of Newport Utilities renewal of letter of credit from Commercial Bank.
Good evening. I know most of you, for those of you that I haven't had the opportunity to meet yet, my name is Joni Daniel, and I'm with Newport Utilities. I think this is our third year of going through this process. Our letter of credit that we're asking about in today's meeting expires in February. So if this is approved, this will give us time to get this letter renewed prior to expiration. With that being said, I will just read straight from this so that it can be recorded correctly in the minutes, which we'll need going forward. So we respectfully request the Newport City Council to authorize Newport Utilities to renew a letter of credit from Commercial Bank in the amount of $600,000 secured by a certificate of deposit, with the beneficiary of this letter being the USDA. Newport Utilities General Manager Michael Williford will sign on behalf of the utilities for this letter.
Joni, this is the same letter that you brought forth
Yes, sir.
the past 3 or 4 years, right?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay, what's the board's pleasure?
Motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion on the board then to approve Newport Utilities renewal of letter of credit from Commercial Bank. Has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye.
Aye.
Nays, like sign. Hearing none, motion carries.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone. and
Joni.
We will see you same time. Thank you.
10. Item number 10A is consideration of bids for annual salt contract for the city of Newport.
Yes, this is a contract that we have to do each year, and this year we've chosen to go with Cargill Company, and their bid was $103.55 a ton, and they was the cheapest.
Is that an increase from prior year?
It's a little bit more than it was. It's just like everything else.
Yeah.
But it's the cheapest of all the others.
What's the board's pleasure?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
Second.
All right, we have a motion on the board then to approve consideration of bids for annual salt contract for the city of Newport. Has been properly seconded. We will need a roll call.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
Yes.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Connie Ball.
Yes.
Motion carries. Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.
Item B is consideration of bids for air units for the community center.
Who would have thought in 1976, when they started building the community center and opened in 1978, that it would need an air conditioning unit in its basketball facility to be able to host an outside venue. So we have put in place a process of bids, and we will be requesting for the approval of the purchase of two 10-ton, three-phase air conditioning units for the basketball courts at the community center. And of course, these will be paid for by pre-budgeted monies. And right now, we need all the help we can get with Ms. Tina to make this thing work. So I'm asking for approval of those bids.
And the bid is $66,350.
Three-phase.
Three-phase. What's the board's pleasure?
Make a motion to accept that bid.
Okay. Yeah. Push me there. All right. We have a motion on the board then for consideration of the bids for air units for the community center in the amount of $66,350. It has been properly seconded. Please signify your acceptance by aye.
Aye.
And nays, like sign. Hearing none. Whoa. I think we need a roll call over this, Miss Tina. Everything okay back there?
I believe there's something going on, there's drinking going on back there. Rocky, did you get that recorded?
Roll call, please.
Alderman Mike Hansel.
Yes.
Alderwoman Luana Ottinger.
Yes.
Alderman Randy Reagan.
Yes.
Alderman Steve Smith.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Tony Ball.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Again, thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. I would like to thank Mr. Fincham for our Christmas party and his vision and what he's seen in that for us as to get together as employees and fellowship and have a special day. And it was a lot of fun. And Virginia, for all you did on the decorations. I know how hard you worked on it. But also, in the process, the reason that we're able to use that gym to do that is because of the vision that we've presented to Mr. Fincham about the opportunity to have a separate venue for that gymnasium in that community center so that we can start producing a lot more activities that can be hosted in that facility. And I thank you, Mr. Fincham.
Tim, this is just, I don't know who I'd make this to, this is just my opinion, but I'd like to see the council members able to sit with, that kind of feels odd out in the middle. Like
I did that to you.
Well,
I apologize.
No, it was okay.
We tried to make you the big cookie of the dance, but we're sorry we put you out there in the aisle.
No, it's okay, but that's just my opinion. I don't know what everybody else feels, but.
Well, the way you all fellowshipped, I didn't think y'all sat down too long. You kind of eat, then you mingled, and all the employees had a chance to access you. So I thought that was very important too. So.
And I didn't mean this in a negative way.
Sure.
It was a perfect party. I mean, it really was.
I thought so too. Thank you. And of course, we've already tried to plan for next year. We've started planning, and we got some good ideas that we've approached James with, and we don't know what Virginia's theme will be until it's like the day of. Then all of a sudden she has a theme that she comes up with. But Ben's already suggested about a sanitation venue up there for this time. So bring in the garbage truck and dump it or something. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 11 is comments from citizens.
I would just like to say, Newport City Schools, we appreciate your department so much. Like from the police department, when I could call Maurice and find out about that happened the other day, if it was safe for us to dismiss the kids, to recreation, the fire department, the street department, and I'll call Ben Hicks early in the morning to see about the snow and ice out. We couldn't do it without you all, and if I've left anybody out, I apologize. But Tim will know when we had the sinkhole over there that I called him and Ben. They're just so accessible to come when we need them. The fire department comes. I'm amazed how quickly they can get up there when our smoke detectors go off and sets off the alarm. But we just appreciate it so much that we're part of you.
Sandy, you're to be commended and the whole school for exemplary school status. I mean, that's absolutely unheard of.
So anyone else wishes to be heard? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My name's Angela Massey. I don't know if y'all know, it's been around landfill or towards the rustic barn, around Little Caesars. There's one garage out Carson Springs. We've got cat colonies, seriously bad. I actually got 23 of them at my house right now from the landfill. I've got them rehome, but I've got to get them fixed first. If we don't fix these cats, you can see on this chart what one cat and its offspring will bring in 8 years. It's over 2 million cats. So if we don't fix these little colonies, they're going to end up huge. I'm working with Sandra O'Connor. She's giving me a big discount on the second page there. I showed it to you. To help me out as far as that goes. What I'm asking for is a waiver. I'm not asking for money from the county or anything. I'm willing to work to fix these. I'm asking for a waiver to run a roadblock a couple times, try to get enough to fix what I can. I'm spending out of my husband's pocket about $150 a week to $200 sending cat food to these colonies at the landfill and the garage up in Carson Springs. Dr. Pokey, God bless his soul, is taking care of 30-something cats at the rescue barn. But he was blessed with a woman that came in and trapped 15 of them and got the kittens and the mothers. So, but, I mean, you can see the problem we're going to have if we don't try to contain it. I've got, like I said, I've got 23 at the house. I've already got 20 home. And I'm willing to do this. And Dr. Puckett, he was going to be here today, but he got tied up at the pediatrics. Let's see. But getting caught, I tell you where this started. My husband works at the landfill. He runs the machinery. Well, a mom cat put her kittens in the tracks of one of the machines. They turned the machines on and they crushed it. And it was pretty bad. It was horrible. My husband is a big 250-pound man and it tore him up pretty bad. So now he runs me with a present time. He got, so I've got kittens coming left and right. We're trying to set up, well, we've got a Facebook set up. It's Perfect Cat Rescue. It's got 3 R's in it because that's the only way we can do it. My daughter helps me. It's Jessica Stewart. I don't know if y'all know her or not. If y'all got any suggestions on any other way to raise the money, like I said, I'm not asking for the county, I'm not asking for the city. I'm willing to get out there and bust my hand in to get this done.
Okay. Apparently, she's looking for a waiver of our ordinance that you'd have to be a 501c3 to have a roadblock, which she doesn't have. But she's asking for a waiver of that ordinance so she can establish a roadblock to raise money to either feed these cats or rehome these cats.
Is that something we can make a motion on at this point?
I don't think so.
Not on the agenda.
No, it's not on the agenda. So she's here to make.
Put it on the agenda for January.
Yeah.
If you all wish to consider doing that.
I think that'd be a good idea to put it on the agenda then.
Yeah, we would have put it on the agenda this month, but we got the information too late to even add it. I did talk to James about it at one of the staff meetings, but it was too late to get it on the agenda. So I just told Ms. Massey that her best bet would be to come in, make the presentation, and then we go from there.
I'm okay.
What's the board's pleasure?
Yeah, I'd like to
Put it on the agenda for January.
And thank you for what you're doing.
I appreciate it. And like I said, Dr. Puckett is wonderful. Matter of fact, I took her doctor today, and she's had open heart surgery twice. I'm sure she got the mask and everything. He's right over me, but this would work tonight. I mean, in the highway, he's wonderful. And he about burst out in tears talking about those cats. But you can see he's just wonderful.
What cats you don't take home, Lisa said you would.
Have you seen them up there, Lisa? Did you see, you know the product?
Everywhere next to Bojangles and down at Lowe's.
Yeah, that's the ones Dr. Puckett's trying to take care of. But Yeah, I'll send you a present. My husband brings little presents on all day. He brought home 4 one morning at lunch, and then come home at 5 o'clock. Here, I found you one more. And he lays on the bed and plays with them. I mean, they're really getting socialized at my house, trust me. I had a wild one, the walnut of my kid, and we finally got her tamed down. But I actually turned the bedroom into a cat room, so.
Ms. Bassey, thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
The next meeting occurs on the second Tuesday of January.
Okay.
So, put you on the agenda for that.
I sure do appreciate it, just don't know.
And item 12 is we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
He's on my here.